Hey guys, it's Gaz and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is the first video in my series of Christmas videos, and today is the most epic vegan Christmas roast. So this ultimate vegan roast is made using wheat gluten, so it's seitan. I've got so many amazing Christmassy flavours going into it. I'm going to glaze it once it's come out the oven in some homemade cranberry sauce and then wrap it in some amazing puff pastry. Honestly, this is the best ever Christmas roast, I promise you. So let's get straight to it. Preheat a saucepan over a medium heat. Add a touch of oil to the pan. To the pan, add 1 finely chopped leek, 1 finely chopped red onion and 2 cloves of garlic minced. To the pan, add 1 teaspoon of allspice, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 tablespoon of dried sage and 2 teaspoons of dried rosemary, plus a pinch of cinnamon. Add a pinch of sea salt and a pinch of pepper. Allow the mix to soften for around 3 minutes. Next, I'm going to be adding 1 cup of cider. Make sure it's vegan friendly, and don't worry, all the alcohol will be burnt off during the cooking process. It's just going to add a really nice sweet appley flavour. Add 1 cup of vegetable stock. Add a tablespoon of white miso paste. This miso paste is going to add a real meatiness to the Christmas roast. Next up, I'm going to blend some dried fruit and some chestnuts, because it wouldn't be Christmas without those 2 items. So let's get those blended up. To a Ninja blender, add 1 cup of vacuum packed chestnuts, half a cup of dried apricots and a 1/4 cup of dried cranberries. Then blitz until fine. As you can see, there's a great mix of textures here. I don't want it finer than that. It's going to add a really nice texture to the finished roast. I'm going to get this into the pan now, and then we're going to get on with the dry ingredients. This is literally smelling of Christmas. It smells so good, and we're almost there. Let's get this mixed in now to our dry mix. So into my mixing bowl, it's time to get one of the most important ingredients into it. 2 1/4 cups of vital wheat gluten. This stuff is amazing at recreating sort of meat replacement products. If you want to know a bit more, just check out some of my other videos. I made vegan steaks, I made cruelty-free KFC burgers and chorizo sausages, so they're all worth a watch, and this is great for this recipe. So let's get it in. Add 3 tablespoons of chickpea flour, then mix well. Right, let's get that Christmas wet mix into the dry mix. Oh wow, this smells so good. Mix well. I really recommend using a spatula. I probably also recommend getting a bigger bowl and putting your apron on, so that's what I'm going to do now. But I'm actually going to turn this out now onto the surface, and I'm going to knead it. And I'm going to knead it for about 8 to 10 minutes, and it's really important that you knead it well, because that makes sure you get a really nice sort of meaty texture, and it's going to really surprise any non-vegans that you're cooking for at Christmas. This will literally blow them away, I promise you. So I'm going to get my apron on, and I'm going to turn this out onto a board and knead it. So I've just been kneading this dough for about 5 minutes. Just knead it quite lightly, but make sure you do it for the full 10 minutes, otherwise you're not going to get that really good texture. So as in my steak and my vegan cruelty-free chicken video, you would have seen me punching the dough at this stage, and that's just to help me knead it faster. But because there's bits of the nut, the dried fruit in here, I don't really want to do that. I'm just going to lightly knead it for a few more minutes, and I don't really want to be punching. It's Christmas time. I've even put my shirt on as well, so just trying to be a bit more peaceful. After kneading the dough for 10 minutes, roll it into a sausage shape. Pop the dough aside to rest for 10 minutes. So the dough's been resting for about 10 minutes, and before I wrap it up and get it in the oven, I'm going to actually coat it in some really nice flavours, just to make sure those beautiful herbs and spices are running right inside it, because that's what we need. We need this to be like the ultimate roast, which it is. And I want this to really sort of surprise everyone you're cooking it for. So all I want you to do is just sprinkle some spices on your board, and I've got some sage, some cayenne pepper, some allspice, some cinnamon. That's all I'm going to do there. Add a pinch of salt and pepper. Now get your dough and just roll it in. Make sure it's covered everywhere. Get the ends as well. Make sure they're coated. So in that spice mix, just to confirm, I had some sage, some dried rosemary. I had some allspice. I had some cayenne pepper. And those flavours are just going to really just make this the ultimate roast. It's going to make it just unbelievable. So once you've coated it, we're going to wrap it up in some cheesecloth or muslin. Leftover herbs and spices, sprinkle them over, then wrap. Make sure it's tight, then tie up each end. Grab yourself a deep roasting tray and pop the wrapped dough in the middle of it. Add around 1.5 cups of cider, followed by 2 cups of vegetable stock. Squeeze in the juice of 1 orange and place it into the tray. Quarter 1 red onion, don't worry about peeling it, and add it to the tray. Add 2 cloves of garlic, just give them a quick bash, don't even peel them. Add a tablespoon of miso paste, 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, add 2 sprigs of rosemary and a few sprigs of thyme. Add 1 bay leaf. Now I'm sure you're noticing that this is going to be so flavoursome. I'm just going to give this a little shake round, get all those flavours mixed in, and I pop it in my oven for 2 hours at 180 degrees Celsius. Let's get that in. Pop the tray on the bottom shelf, and after an hour of cooking, flip over the dough. Right guys, it's been 2 hours. The Christmas smells are wafting around the house. I'm going to get it out of the oven now, and then we're going to prepare it ready to roll in some pastry. Oh wow, my glasses are steamed up. Oh wow, it smells unbelievable. Look at that. And the most amazing thing about this recipe, all those beautiful flavours that I put into the pan are going to create the most incredible gravy to accompany this roast. So pop that aside and just let it cool for about 10 to 15 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm going to prepare some puff pastry. Right, so I'm slightly cheating. I'm going to be using puff pastry. You can get really good vegan puff pastry at all good supermarkets these days. And I'm just going to sprinkle a bit of flour on the board. And the reason I'm using this pastry is because that takes long enough. I don't want to make your Christmas sort of cooking a full day or even more by making you make the pastry at home. I have got a good rough puff pastry recipe going into my book, but for this recipe, this is great. Roll the block of pastry around 3 ml thick into a rectangle. Sprinkle some plain flour to help you roll it. Once you've rolled it out to around 3 ml thick, cut it into a neat rectangle shape. You can refrigerate the trimmings and use them later. You may notice I'm in a total new kitchen. I decided to come here to film the Christmas videos because I thought it was quite Christmassy, but I am getting to grips with the new equipment and it's kind of hard not being able to roll out on a smooth surface. So I'm kind of struggling doing it on my board, but that's why I had to cut it. But make sure you cut it into a nice rectangle shape and make sure it's 3 ml thick running right across. Take the roast out of the tray, reserve in the liquid, then unwrap the muslin. I always get really excited at this point just to see what it looks like. Oh wow. Look at this. And it's so succulent. That's a good word. It's just really tender. It feels great. And you can still see the amazing flavours sort of coated on it. So what I'm going to do next, and add a little bit of sweetness, and that's going to cut through the sort of meatiness of this by adding some of my homemade cranberry sauce. And you can actually find the recipe for that in one of my old videos which I filmed last year. I've come so far since then, I hate watching the videos, but you can get that recipe and it's really nice, so go and watch that if you want to make the cranberry sauce yourself. Coat the roast in cranberry sauce all over the top and the sides. Make sure it's a nice even thin layer. Measure the roast up against your pastry, then do some incisions in each side of the pastry like so. So this is just making it that little bit extra special and actually make this into more of like a lattice effect. So the way you do that is by basically layering these pieces over each other. So I've just got some glaze here and I've just made this glaze to sort of replicate egg wash, and in there is maple syrup, some soya milk and also some oil. So basically all we need to do is give these a little brush on the inside, and that will just help them stick. And then we're going to layer them over, starting from the bottom. Just crisscross them all the way. When you get to the end, just tuck in the pastry, like so. Brush the glaze over the pastry. Make sure it's well covered. I don't know about you, but to me that looks absolutely beautiful. And the best thing about this, when it goes in the oven, it's going to puff up, it's going to go golden. And when you serve that to your guests, actually, I don't know why I'm telling you now, you just need to see it. So get it on to a baking tray. Make sure it's a non-stick one, or just line a baking tray with some grease-proof paper. Carefully place it on. Make sure you haven't missed any bits with the glaze. And then pop it in the oven, set at 180 degrees Celsius again for around 15 to 20 minutes. Or just until it's golden, but keep an eye on it because you don't want it to burn. Right, the Christmas roast is in the oven. Now it's time to make a really nice gravy to go with it. So I'm using the leftover sort of cooking stock that's in the tray. There's some beautiful flavours in there. I'm going to get this into a saucepan and get it cooking. Strain the mix through a sieve. Press the mix through, squeezing out all the lovely juices. Let the gravy reduce down and thicken. So this gravy will eventually be so rich that you're only going to need a few tablespoons over the roast. If you want a really good gravy recipe, I recommend going back to one of my videos that I filmed last year in my last Christmas series, my first ever YouTube videos, because I made the ultimate vegan gravy. And to be honest with you, although I wasn't that confident on camera and the videos weren't as good, the recipe is still absolutely incredible. Guys, I'm actually really happy I put my shirt on because this is special. I promise you I'm going to get it out now and show you. Wow. Oh, wow. Look at that. That is unbelievable. And the gravy's thickened up too. Right, I need to carve this up. Oh, wow. Look at that. That is unbelievable. You can see everything running through it. It smells unbelievable too. I've said unbelievable twice in 2 seconds because it's that unbelievable. I need to serve it up. So I'm going to get this nice slice here and put it on my plate. And just to let you know quickly, in 2 videos time I've got the ultimate sexy Christmas vegetables to serve with this. So stay tuned for that. This goes really well with them all. I'm going to put a little spoonful with my cranberry on the side, just to show you. And of course, this beautiful gravy. And there we have it. That is my ultimate vegan Christmas roast. It's smelling beautiful. I need to give it a try now. So I need to get the boys to get some really quick beauty shots so I can give it a try and let you know how it tastes. My mouth is literally watering. I can't wait to give this a try. Before I do, as this is a new series, I've been listening to your comments and a lot of you have been asking where I get my clothes from and the brands and things like that. So at the end of the video, I'm going to have a little still of probably me eating this, and I'm going to pop up a graphic next to each item of clothing so you know where I got it from. Just if you like it, I'll continue to do it. If you don't like it, I'll just cut it out completely, but just let me know. So let's give this a taste. It smells so good and it's so tender. Look at that. Let's get some of the rich gravy on there. Let's give this a try. Oh wow, that is literally beautiful. It's got the perfect texture because I kneaded it enough. The crispy puff pastry coating. It's got just a little tang from the cranberry that I coated around it, but the Christmassy flavours are just insane. Honestly, you need to try this. You need to serve it to everyone at your dinner table. Please try it out on some non-vegans because they'll love it. Probably got it all around my mouth, but honestly, that is so good. You've got to try it. Thanks so much for watching. Next week I have a gluten-free, oil-free recipe, so stay for that, and that's the main event. So the main dish for your Christmas is gluten-free and oil-free, so stay tuned for that. And the week after that, have some amazing, sexy Christmas vegetables. So, make sure you try it. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, share and comment. Hit the bell if you want to be part of the notification gang, and please subscribe. Thank you so much.